it is almost without fail people of above average capabilities, intelligence, spiritual awareness, and also leadership qualities that can actually be such a person. Because usually any Reuven or Shimon comes along, any Tom, Dick, or Harry comes along and says, let's do such and such. Why would anyone pay any attention? But if he has a long beard and a very impressive hat, shall we say, and people relate stories about him all the time, how amazing and wonderful and insightful he is, and he spouts all kinds of teachings, some of which may be entirely in line with the Torah, but some of them may be completely the opposite of Torah and may lead people astray. It is precisely this kind of person who is likely or possibly a mesith and a madiach. So when you become aware of such a reality and people say, well, how can you say this about him? Or the people who follow him, because look at the wonderful things they do. They're very kind towards people, and they help out, and they set up these centers of Judaism all over the world, and make mass sedarim, Leila Seder, Pesach for all these backpackers, which they do. And all that is true. But that is precisely what will cause most people not to see the underlying reality and the extreme danger involved in such people. I have no doubt, for example, that Yeshua Nusri, Shem Roshaim Yerkov, was a very talented individual, apparently a very powerful personality, very charismatic, knowledgeable to at least some extent, but he was a masif and a madiach. And history speaks for itself, what resulted from his teachings. Again, you could say a lot of these people are very moral, upstanding people. That's entirely true. And that's positive. A person who follows Yeshua Nusri and is a kind person, first of all, is doing so not because that individual said so, but because the Torah states so, and he is influenced by what the Torah says, because that is part of the package in the first place. But certain other pernicious ideas were part of the message, and this led the entire world, or much of the world, astray. So there is also a positive side to this, as Rambam writes at the end of Yichot Melachim u'Milchamot, that at least Christianity brought a certain knowledge of Hashem and of the Tanakh to large swaths of people in the world. But that message became very, very much entangled with other ideas and messages, which are totally disastrous. So therefore, it is necessary for us to hear what the Rambam writes here, that a masith might be a regular person, but in fact is more likely to be some kind of navi, some kind of spiritual teacher, and considered to be very outstanding and unique. Because it's precisely such people who tend to lose sight of who they are and what they are saying and what they are teaching and where it is leading. And they are basically a powerful spiritual energy that is out of control. And anything that is out of control is not a good thing. And we are discussing this today on He B'Tammuz, 2 days after Gimel B'Tammuz. And unfortunately, the message and the false teachings of a well-known Hasidic sect based in Brooklyn have become accepted and have infiltrated the minds and the hearts of many Jews, and we have to be aware of how serious a matter this is. And as we said before, the fact that these people may be very medakdek with misworth, and they may cause other people to perform misworth, and they set up a stand where they encourage people to put on tefillin, or to pick up Arbat Aminim on Sukkoth, or whatever it may be. This is all true, but it is not relevant. Not relevant at all. Keep in mind that all the original Minim mentioned by Chazal were Jews. And the Mishnah, both in Masechet Barachot and more specifically in Masechet Megillah, speaks about removing a person from being the Shaliach Sibur in the Beit Knesset because he's hashud as a mean, because we have reason to suspect that he is a mean. And why would we think such a thing about a person? He came to shul like everybody else, and he has a beard like everybody else, and he's wearing tefillin like everybody else. True, but we see that he has these strange notions which have no basis in the Torah, such as saying, I only daven when recite the Shmoneh Esrei when barefoot, as the Mishnah states over there, or is unwilling to recite Birkat Haminim, which was precisely enacted for this reason. So any indication that a person follows such ideologies, whatever else they may be doing or not doing, has no bearing on the question of whether they're a mean. And that is why I strongly suggest, and I've always said to people who have asked, not to buy tefillin or mezuzot from such person, or a Sefer Torah. Sefer Torah shekatavo min yisaref. That is the halakha. Another harsh halakha, ruthless, but uprooting minut from within Am Yisrael is trumps all other considerations, even burning a Sefer Torah. And once again, to understand the true nature and to correctly calibrate our attitudes towards various things, the very best guide is always the halakha. The halakha, as the halakha is written, the halakha is not just a set of instructions. Do this and don't do that. The halakha is a set of instructions, of course, that this is mutar and this is asur and this is required, this is msuwa and this is to be avoided, but it's all based on a system of ideas, on a value system, on a hierarchy of principles, and so that the halakha is an expression of an entire philosophical approach of the approach of the Torah. So if you want to know what does the Torah really think about something, then you look at the halakha and you will walk away with great clarity. So if the Torah tells you, if the halakha tells you that tefillin written by a min are to be destroyed and must not be worn, well then you know what the Torah thinks about such a person, without any reference to the question of whether he keeps Shabbat or not, and how many times a day he gives tzedakah, and how many dapim of Gemara he learns every week. These are not the relevant considerations. If you want to know what is minuth and what does this include, and if there is something like a Sefer Torah or Tefillin or a mezuzah written by such a person, if the halakha is that you must destroy them, then you understand that that is an expression of the true essence of the matter and of the reality, and you should not allow anything else to blur your vision, and you must not lose that clarity.
Rabbi,
Yes.
if one were to receive a Sefer Torah from the group in question, would it be correct to burn it, or is there enough of a safek that it should only be put in the Genizah?
The halakha, which we can look at another time, is that Sefer Torah shekatavo min yisaref. So if you know that it was written by such a person, not that it was in the possession of such a person, but it was written by such a person, and that is the halakha. And by so doing, you are both removing a stumbling block, being mesir michshol, and you're also sending a very powerful message, precisely because doing such a thing is such a shocking act. Normally, that would be the worst thing you could do, to burn a Sefer Torah. But when you do it because of a given situation and circumstance, that is sending a very powerful message. And that exactly is what Inani Dahat is all about. It's sending a very, very a message that cannot be missed by anybody.
Rabbi,
Yes.
what if it is unclear whether the given member of the sect is a believer in the Mashiachist version, or perhaps doesn't believe in the said Rabbi being alive or Mashiach?
Before Torah Kula, we go according to the Rov. We go according to the majority. I believe there is no doubt that a clear majority, I would estimate it at being at least 80%, of people who claim to belong to such a group today adopt those beliefs, accept those ideas.